what's happening everyone? Cody Lefevre here, coming to you from my gym, Alma's Gym, the highest gym in North America at 10,361 feet in Alma, Colorado. This video is going to be a review on the brand new, totally sweet, absolutely useful, most functional, modular, futuristic alien technology Rep Fitness open trap bar. This thing's right here. Just got to my gym this week, put it together, and have been playing with it for, I don't know, 2 workouts for me and a lot of different members of the gym coming in and playing with the new toy. So I wanted to do this video as a review, first impressions, tell you what I think about it, all the different options that come with it, the different exercises you can do with it, and what I see that's like potentially on the radar if I were Rep Fitness, what I would be doing with this thing. So let's get right into talking about this bar and showing off what it has. We're down here at the trap bar. Now, to be clear, this is not the first open trap bar. It's not the first trap bar to have a built-in deadlift jack. It does, however, benefit from being one that's come after a few other companies that have developed an open trap bar. It is a benefit because clearly Rep took a look at other companies like Alico or Kabuki and said, you know what, that's pretty good, but I think we could do better. And I think they did. Opening a gym, I've done a lot of research on what equipment I want to have in here because I want it to be worth my money and space saving. Space saving is going to afford several different options for using the equipment that's in here and provide something that the members of my rural community can't get at the nearby rec center. So here, introduced the Rep Fitness open trap bar. I saw this thing, looked around, researched the other trap bars, and I could have ordered the Alico one or the Bells of Steel. I believe they have one. There's the Kabuki open trap bar. And honestly, for the price, all I had to do was wait, and it has arrived, and it has not let me down one bit. So one of the big things that I love about this Rep Fitness open trap bar is that it is designed to do more than just deadlifts. You can easily take these handles off, you can squat with it, you can bench and press with it, you could do other things like a Zercher deadlift with it. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could swing with it, but I'll go to the playground and do that. Not this playground, but the one outside. Here, let's just run through some quick features. Right here, we have knurling on the top of the bar, so when you squat, the bar's not gonna slide down. And it's wide enough that a guy like me can reach out and comfortably hold on to the corners as I'm squatting. If you don't have that kind of shoulder mobility, you can easily reach out and put your hands on the plates when they're out here on the collars, right? So down here we have our handle attachments. These come off easily. This is just the standard ones that has a low handle and a high handle. They're both the same thickness, but if I were a designer at Rep Fitness, and what I do think that they're moving towards is to have different modularity options for this bar. So what's probably gonna come down the pipe is not just fatter handles, but also a high handle and an even higher handle. So right here, this would be the standard one. It's maybe 3 inches apart or something like that. In the future, they might even have a 6-inch option so that this bracket is a little bit bigger and you can have a truly high handle deadlift. Perhaps they'll have handles with swiveling grips or something. You can just imagine what you could do with this kind of modularity. I think that's one of the strengths of this trap bar that sets it apart from other ones, is that these can be interchanged pretty easily. It just takes real quick loosening with an Allen key. I'll show you how to do that. And then you can tighten it and loosen it with your fingers, snug it down with an Allen key. It takes a minute, maybe less, if you've got NASCAR pit stop speed to change these handles out. So in the future, Rep Fitness, I have no doubts, are gonna come out with different options to change these things out, give you a lot more variability with your deadlift training. Now, one of the other things that this trap bar does that other open trap bars do is it has a built-in deadlift jack. So here it's in that loading position. It can tilt, so you can load this bar and then tilt it back down on the plates, and it makes it easy to load. That's one of the worst things about a standard trap bar is just loading the thing. It's a huge pain in the butt. I've always hated trap bars for that reason, but an open trap bar configures the equipment so that you can easily load it. So I'll demonstrate that right now. Just grab some plates, show you how to load this thing. And there we go, ready to deadlift. And that side, I flipped it over, it's on the low handle side. I can flip this over, and now it's on the high handle side. And what you'll see is it does have perfect balance here. It doesn't just automatically fall to where then you have to pick it up and get settled. And what I'm really impressed about is that the floor here is not precisely level. This building was made like 100 years ago. I don't even know if they had levels 100 years ago. So it's not perfectly level, but this open trap bar behaves in such a way that it's not so loose that it's just flopping all over the place. You can see that it kind of finds a level here, and this is the spot right here on my floor that's not perfectly level. But let's take it back to a spot where it is level. There we go. So even on my imperfect floor, it's not all over the place, which it was really impressive to me. Because I put a standard bar on here and I try to deadlift more off to this side on my floor, and I can tell it just wants to tilt around on me. But the open trap bar, it's balanced so well that it's not all over the place. So just, that was one thing that I do get irritated with deadlifting in my own gym. There's always gonna be like a little quirk in some piece of equipment or some part of the floor. It's happened in almost every gym that I've been to. And so that's the one spot right there that's out of level. The rep trap bar behaved well there. So I was pretty impressed with that, because the other day I was doing a 60-minute AMRAP. I'm trying to zip through reps. The last thing you want to do in a workout that's against the clock is be messing with your equipment. I didn't have to do that with the open trap bar. All I had to do is my deadlifts, come over here and do push-ups and just bounce back and forth for 60 minutes. I didn't have to twist the bar or fix it or anything like that. And it's just really impressive, because in those kinds of workouts where you're racing against the clock, you don't want to be messing with your equipment. That'd be so frustrating. And I actually did really well in that workout. So I was grateful for the open trap bar to just be balanced so well. I was really impressed, honestly. So comes time to do a different movement. You're gonna tilt this bar up, and let's say that you're done doing your trap bar deadlifts. Now you can move on to a Zercher deadlift. You can squat down, you can just pick that thing up and just rep this out. And if you really wanted to get feisty, you can just bounce back and forth. So easy. Right? So all in all, it's a pretty sweet piece of equipment, because it makes going back and forth between movements really, really easy. What I'm gonna do now is take off these handles. We'll get this thing in the rack. I'll show you how to squat with it, press with it, bench with it, swing with it. So come on down here to the handles. Let's take these things off. So the handles just came off. It took me about a minute, and once those handles are off, now you go from having a trap bar to a cambered bar. You can squat with it, press, bench with it, and I totally am just making assumptions here, but Rep Fitness, I am really confident to come out with a number of different handle attachments. So who knows what they can envision and design and engineer that can be put onto this very modular bar to open up a whole other world of lift variations. So let's go ahead and take this over to the rack and start squatting with it. All right, so now I've got the bar in the rack set up to squat or press with. As you can see, once these handles are off, it's in the rack. Again, it's balanced, perfectly balanced. This thing is awesome. I know I just keep ranting about the bar being balanced, but if there's one thing that an open trap bar could do wrong, it's to not be balanced. Right behind that would be like if the deadlift jack stands like just didn't function as well. The deadlift jack portion of this, I have no complaints. It's perfect, it works great every single time. The balance, likewise, here, it's in the rack. No weight on it, it just sits in there ready to squat. So that's what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna take it out of the rack, get set up, There we go. Just squatted with it. So I did a squat workout with this last night and worked up to 315, did a couple of reps there. I had never squatted with a cambered bar before. I didn't know exactly what to expect. I've done a lot of squats with a safety squat bar, but that has handles right here to help you balance. The cambered bar behaves a whole lot differently. It just wants to swing on you. So it's gonna be much more punishing if you lose position. So if you're looking for a bar that is a great 2-in-1, then the Rep Fitness Open Trap Bar is for you. Because for the price of, I think it was $400 or something like that, now I've got a trap bar and a cambered bar. With this cambered bar, not only can you squat with it, but you can do my favorite lift, an overhead press with it. So as you can see, you press overhead. Since the bar has the weights hanging down low, it's gonna wanna swing on you. It's one of the benefits of a cambered bar, is that it forces you to be in a better position with more stability, more control of the weight. So if you're using one of my training programs, you might already know that I love variation. I love including different variations of exercises in my programs. A cambered bar is a great T2 or even a T1 exercise for your squat, your bench, or your overhead press. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the bench over here to the rack, lower the bar down. I'm gonna show you how to bench with this thing. So I got the bar set up in the rack here for benching. Honestly, it's my first time benching with the cambered bar. I've only squatted and done deadlifts with this bar, done some overhead pressing, but here in the bench for the first time. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so first impression benching with a cambered bar. That was tough. I see this cambered bar now after benching with it for the first time as being a great alternative to using something like a tsunami bar, which I have used before at a different gym back in the day. Those are those bars that have a lot of whip to them. They bend a whole lot, so it has a stability element to it. This cambered bar just behaved exactly like that. So it was really cool to see what it was like to lift it out of the rack and having to stay tight, squeeze my armpits, keep my lats tight, lower it down under control, and then press it up. The one thing that I can see that somebody might complain about, but again, if you're using specialty bars, you're probably not going to complain about this, is that it is a thicker diameter bar. So technically, you're bringing the bar down not as low as if you were to be benching with a standard bar, just because the diameter is, who knows, maybe half an inch thicker than a standard bar. That really doesn't concern me all too much. That might be the only detractor for benching with this because of the diameter of the bar. However, that might only appeal to the powerlifting purist who only wants to use an Alico competition rated standard super stiff bar that you use for the squat, bench, deadlift, and you don't do any other accessory or assistance exercises. If you're that kind of person, you're probably not going to be using a trap bar anyways, but I digress. Just now, first impression, benching with that trap bar has made it a lot harder, made me focus on things that the straight bar didn't make me focus on. Primarily, having a really tight setup and that unrack. It's really easy to get into the swing of things and just get casual with your setup and unrack. This is why I practice singles. When I get closer to a meet, when I have my athletes get closer to a meet, they start practicing singles, but just sitting down right there, setting up as I normally would, pretty casually, and then just unracking an empty bar, it was a wake-up call. Wow, you're not as tight as you need to be. And that was just the empty bar. If I start putting on weight here, it's gonna change things a whole lot. So I'm gonna go back there, grab some 25s, slide them on, and let's see if I get pinned. Wow. Oh man. I'm not sure if you could see the sheer look of terror in my face, but unracking that thing and lowering it down, I'm all over the place. That's going to be a staple in my bench training for sure. As I was doing that set, I had this thought, well, what if you're like 6'5" and you take a really wide grip? You're probably going to be close grip benching with this open trap bar. So that might be a downside compared to a standard cambered bar. However, me being a king manlet, 5 foot 5 inches tall, the grip width on that is no problem. I did, however, like the fat grip nature of the open trap bar. I do have some elbow tendonitis I've been battling. So when I bench with a normal bar, I do feel it a bit more in my elbow. Since that's a larger diameter bar, gripping it with the fat grip didn't affect my elbow as much. So that's pretty cool. Dang, first impression with the cambered bar bench is that I'm weak. So I'm stoked that the trap bar is here to help me out with that. So there it goes. Handles are on. It levels out in the rack. Again, not squatting with it with the handles on. You could if you're a smaller person. I did try to squat with the handles on, and I found that the handles just kind of hit the outside of my legs. If you're a real small person, a teen or a lightweight class female lifter, then you might even be able to squat with the handles staying on. So that would just like make it a whole lot easier. I wouldn't necessarily do that, but potentially you might. Handles coming on and off easily. Some downsides I have noticed, just to be completely open here, is that the handle attachments here can loosen up. So they're right now tight, but this one right here, I've noticed got a little bit loose just through use. Again, if this is in your home gym, that might not ever happen to you. I'm here at a commercial gym. I've got dozens of people coming in here, and this thing has been getting used almost nonstop for the last few days since I got it assembled. So that's kind of to be expected with something with a little bit of modularity. That being said, the fitment's actually pretty tight. With this tightened on, I'm not getting play in these handles. I'm not getting play through here. So for anybody that's used to having modularity in their equipment, there's going to be some play in some things unless it's really tight and just precisely engineered. And that's something that really impressed me with this Rep Fitness open trap bar, is that these things aren't wiggling around on me as I'm deadlifting. It's been pretty awesome, honestly, to use. The other downside that I might be very upfront about is, because this was frustrating mostly because of me, is I had all of the wrenches needed to assemble this, and it does come with this wrench here for the handles, this Allen key, but it doesn't have a 17 millimeter wrench. Make sure you have a 17 millimeter socket, or not a socket, because the socket's not going to fit inside here. You have to have a 17 millimeter wrench that goes right in there. The 17 millimeter wrench goes on there. If you don't have like your standard open end wrench that has like the little round end on one side and then the open on the other, if you don't have one of those in 17 millimeter, buy one before your bar comes in, because otherwise these collars are not going on. So thankfully my neighbor had one. I borrowed one from him. I had every other millimeter wrench, like a 15, 16, 18, not the 17. So that's on me. Now to just close this out, the Rep Fitness open trap bar has a lot of variations that open up several different uses, whether it's pressing, squatting, deadlifting, benching. You can do Zercher deadlifts with this. You can do farmer's walks with this. Who knows? There's probably a lot of other stuff. I haven't yet had it long enough to play with this toy substantially enough to figure out all of the different variations. That being said, the modularity alone, I can foresee that Rep Fitness is going to come out with different handle attachments, and I'm really excited to see what they do there. I'm guaranteed there's going to be fat grip handles. There might even be rotating grip handles. Who knows? What I can see perhaps in the future as well is having different length collars, because these standard ones are great for a normal gym or someone with a larger home gym. If you got a smaller home gym like the barn that I was in for several years, I might like to have a shorter collar. Perhaps you only have fat bumper plates, or you're a really strong guy and you want to be pulling 1,000 pounds on this thing, these collars might not be long enough for you. So maybe they come out with like what they might call it an elephant bar length collar. So it's a little bit long. Who knows? I'm just trying to imagine what I would do if I had the means to really exploit all the modularity on this Rep Fitness open trap bar. So yeah, here it is. Just an honest review, first take of me using this open trap bar. I've had a number of different members use this trap bar for squatting, deadlifting, pressing. I've now used it many times, and geez, I think every workout since I got it, I've actually used the open trap bar. So I've just been really impressed with it. I hope you found this video informative. And if you got questions about this piece of equipment, or perhaps another piece of equipment that I've got here in my gym, just drop that in the comments boxes below. I'll review that equipment for you. And I just want to give a big shout out to all of you for subscribing to my channel all these years, supporting me, helping me get here to my new gym here in Alma, Colorado at 10,361 feet. Thanks for watching.